And as gladiators went 2,000 years ago, they were slaves, and they had to keep entertaining and entertaining until they were set free. And I thought, you know what, we've lost our gladiatorial mentality through technology, through entrepreneurship, we just expected to lose every day. So what I want to do is I want to have the gladiator mastery to win in friggin' life and celebrate prosperity, celebrate abundance, celebrate being fucking happy in love, abundance of love and connection and gratitude and contribution and fucking wealth. Age of 3.5, I lost my father. He was 29 years old. And they did, just lack of education, they didn't tell me the truth. They didn't want to hurt me. They thought I wasn't ready. So for over a year, I stood outside school waiting for him to pick me up. I would sit outside the house. They wouldn't know. I would sit outside the house. When's my dad coming? You know, and then a year later, they took me to his grave on his anniversary. I was like, they're all crying. So who's this, your dad? That's how I found out. Right, so I felt so lied to and cheated to by the closest people in my life. At the age of 4, and I was like, what? How could they for such a long period of time lie to me? So my advice is children can handle everything. Always tell them the truth, because this business of people cheat you has never left me.
Dariush, are you ready to unleash?
Perfectly.
I'm trying.
I'm unleashed.
Unleashed, always.
The can's open. The tip of the can is open. I am unleashed.
I felt it. I felt it from the beginning. The fact that I saw you on that amazing arena and I saw a gladiator on a stage, it really inspired me. And I believe thousands of people who will listen to us will be inspired about the story behind in just establishing arena and the story behind Gladiator. Would you mind if you unleashed your story?
Okay. The reason I'm smiling is because I love you.
Same.
And I mean that, right? So I feel blessed to be here. What time is it now? It's 10 o'clock at night. I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning, right?
Oh
I
my
wake
God.
up at 4:35 every morning, right? So happiness is a decision. Okay, so if viewers are watching, oh, he's happy, oh, he's lucky, life's wonderful and he's got it easy. It's far from that. I'm tired, I want to be with my kids, I want to be with my wife at home, but it's an honor to be here, right? So I celebrate every moment because there's no guarantee there's going to be a tomorrow, right? So I think one of the things that gladiators did, they weren't guaranteed a future, right? So they practiced their trade, they studied their opponents, they practiced the moves, the maneuvers over and over and over and over again. And as gladiators went 2,000 years ago, they were slaves, and they had to keep entertaining and entertaining until they were set free. And I thought, you know what, we've lost our gladiatorial mentality through technology, through entrepreneurship, we just expected to lose every day. And eventually somebody will say yes. But life doesn't have to be like that, okay? And the reason we've gone soft is because as human beings, we're not built to prosper. As human beings, we're built to suffer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you think about 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, we were hunter-gatherers, right? We moved, and the reason farms came along, because we kept moving to farm when the weather was good, okay? Mm-hmm. So then we learned how to farm and we stayed in one place. But now everything comes so easily, we're lost, subconsciously we're lost, okay? And you thought you can have cars, this, that, but our training is that we're supposed to suffer, right? So automatically most people fall back into suffering, right? And not prospering. So what I want to do is I want to have the gladiator mastery to win in friggin' life and celebrate prosperity, celebrate abundance, celebrate being fucking happy in love, abundance of love and connection and gratitude and contribution and fucking wealth, right? Because most of us And I'm not going to apologize for swearing, okay? Because I'm really passionate about this. Most of us are brought to think money's not good. Money's the root of all evil. Rich people are bad people. Money's hard to come by. I hear children say, Mommy, Daddy, can I buy this? Who do you think we are? Elon Musk? We train them for poor mentality. And then because Peter Pan said all children grow up, right? And Peter Pan was the only child that never grew up. And the fact is, those children will grow up to die as frustrated old people.
I love the metaphor that you said about gladiator and how life, it looks like arena, right? But what is the difference between a gladiator and a spectator from your point?
Well, spectators were on handouts, okay? The reason that the emperors had this events where gladiators fought each other was to keep the mind of the people occupied. Because if they were suffering, they will come and revolt and kill the Caesar, right? So he will create these games to keep the mind occupied. Just like today we do football and stuff like this. So we consume by football and we avoid what really matters in life. They were conditioned the same as the way we are now, okay? So spectators will never prosper. And food was handed out. Fruits were handed out. So they went there for handouts. Okay, that's what a spectator does. Waits for handouts, waits for salaries. Okay? Entrepreneurs are gladiators that knock back the entertain. Think about it. Why is Elon Musk the richest man in the world? Why is Jeff Bezos the second richest man? Why is Bill Gates the third richest? Why? Because they serve the most amount of people. And in the old days, gladiators, the more people they entertained, the closer to freedom they got. And it's the same thing. We just have technology. Those days they had swords. Here, with 10 years to get half a dozen customers, we're expected for 9.5 years to fail, dust ourselves down. Dust ourselves down, get up and try again. Imagine you go into battle and you not prepared properly. What will happen 2,000 years ago? You get your balls chopped off, your head chopped off. Yes? But now we can negotiate on defeat. Imagine waking up in the morning, say, it's do or die today. How would your mentality change? How would you operate differently? You can still have fun, but hey, life's tough. Okay, how prepared are you to live that tough life and win? Wake up in the morning saying, I hope I get shitloads of problems today. I hope my problems are huge. Don't wake up in the morning thinking, I hope I'm going to have an easy day. There's no growth.
What is the toughest moment that happened in your life?
There's a list of those. I think what hurt me most is everybody had lots of friends, but when I lost it, there was nobody there, even family. And that hurt most, right? Because I was judged by my wealth, and I thought I had friends, but they were acquaintances. I had family, but they judged me on money and not the person I was. And then I said it to my wife, and I said to my mom, my mom wasn't a supporter, but I said to a few, I said, you wait, when I have it again, I'll be Mr. Popular again. And that hurts because unfortunately my values haven't changed, yes, but my bank account has changed, right? So why should people judge me on my bank account? I don't care, I'll say it. These Russian billionaires and oligarchs who screwed Russia and took out billions and billions of dollars and bought like $300 million boats, yes? They didn't earn it, they screwed Russia. But then before the war, the West was happily taking their money, right? But now it doesn't suit them. They're confiscating the boats and freezing their bank accounts. These guys had zero principles in the first place. What did we expect them? Why did we accept them? Right? Because our values aren't coherent. They're the same crooks, right? But our values are not coherent. When I say we, the West, not so much. I love UAE, and not UAE is all about peace, okay? But in the West, it's all about capitalism. It's all about money matters more than values, and that hurts me most. That I think we should still have our values. We should have our boundaries.
But what was the trigger that wakes you up and get, that I have great values and I can inspire and change my situation? Because it's not an easy one.
Okay, my kids, because I want to leave a legacy that their father was a decent man. Even if I'm not in a meeting with them, I'm doing a meeting, I always think, if my son was here now, would he be proud of me? So I get my fictionary situation to judge me. I look in the mirror at night and I have a fucking honest conversation with myself. Zero ego. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Did I have a good day? Did I bullshit my way today? Sometimes I bullshit my way because I just can't be bothered working, but I'm honest with myself, right? Do I want to have a day like that? Not really. What am I going to change tomorrow? So have honest conversations with yourself. Be your own judge. Yes, those are the things that I think realigns you to your values. So if I die, I never woke up a day in my life thinking I'm going to hurt someone, harm someone, take advantage of anyone. Maybe definitely along the way I've hurt people, not being intentional, but because I'm on a path. I want to help as many people as possible. I'm going to leave a legacy for my kids. And along the way, if you're not up to it, jump off the bus. Right?
In that moment, do you believe that growth, personal development, or the growth itself, you can lose closed people?
They weren't closed anyway. We thought they were closed. Right? So we all vibrate in different dimensions. And have you ever, I know you're married, and I'm sure you didn't marry the first person you met, right? You get into a relationship, a love affair, and then a year down the line you think, what the hell did I see in this person? Right? Because you were blinkered, right? And it's the same with life. We see things and you think they weren't really friends. Hang on a second, when I was rich and we met on a regular basis, I always paid the bill. Seriously.
Yeah.
They always made me buy the first round of drinks. So they were always manipulating the situation that they'd be better off than me during our meetings. I just didn't see it. So the evidence is always there. It's whether we choose to see it or not.
How can we see it?
You can never see it all the time. So because life is full of disappointments and celebrations, what I say is I'd rather live a life with an open heart and have it kicked a few times than have a life with a closed heart, right? And never experience life. How can you enjoy success when you've never had failure? How can you enjoy light when you've never experienced, dark? How can you enjoy winter when you've never experienced summer? Does that make sense? So you have to have the yin and the yang to enjoy that. And everything in life passes. Good passes, seasons pass, everything passes. Good times pass. There will be a time that my children will bury me. Yeah, so enjoy the moment.
This too shall pass. I remember.
This too shall pass.
You are always saying this. Do you have any situation that reminds you by this statement?
Every day. Every day. Because the more popular you get, the more people you move, you're going to have more haters. You are judged. People say things. People who don't know you comment. So you're always reflecting, and I'm a thinker. I'm a doer, but I'm mainly a thinker because I'm always thinking, right? And one of the downsides of being a thinker is that you can overthink, right? So you become extremely sensitive, and it hurts me when people who don't know me judge me. Like he's all about money. Yeah, but I'm not saying screw anyone, not take advantage of everyone. Have your principles. Money is energy, right? What energy are you sending out there to attract the energy of money? And then I want to talk to them because more people go, oh, they get hurt. I actually confront, right? And then before I confront, I look at them, I think they actually have no money. So what they're saying is, I highlight what they don't like about themselves, right? So I magnify. Money magnifies. Money magnifies. If you're a negative person with money, you get more negative. If you're a positive person, you do great things with money. So it's just money magnifies. And I tend to magnify people's emotions towards money, whether good or bad.
How do you deal with judgment and just haters? How do you deal with that?
I'll give you an example. About a few months ago, one of my team opens up a TikTok account. And I don't even go on TikTok, but I have a TikTok account that I never go on. And a couple of my videos got like 600,000-700,000 views. So I was like, oh, okay. Why is this one getting 1,000? This one getting 10,000. This one's got 700. I really didn't understand the logarithm. So I go online, and the video that went viral is a true story about a company I opened up in the UK, and it did very well. And this was 30 years ago, before the internet and stuff like this. And I can tell you the story now.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the horrible thing of looking at the comments, right? And they were like, the guy's a liar, he's a bold so-and-so. And then I started replying, say, please check this. I never heard of this. Okay, check this reference. I replied to 10. There was like 300 messages. By the time we got to the 15th, I was like, you fucking asshole. Yes. And suddenly my son calls me, a 15-year-old son calls me from school. He said, Dad, my friends are seeing you reply to this. I was like, okay. He goes, right, don't do anything else. You go home and blocked all comments. So my lesson is only a few weeks ago. So my lesson was, don't react. Don't react. Haters will all be haters. Losers will always be losers. You cannot. I walk into a room, somebody hates me because I'm bald. I walk into a room, somebody hates me because I'm smiling. Because they're miserable fuckers. Right? Nothing to do with me. I swear it upsets people. You know that event I did with 13 hours? I stood on my feet. I had blisters in my feet and everything else. Somebody phoned up and says, I learned so much from you, but please don't swear. Like, I've just given you 13 hours of life-changing lessons that you
look at this,
and all you thinking about is swearing. I was on a Tony Robbins course in London, and Tony's American, so he swears, people leave. He said, I want to make you $1 million. About 100 people got up and left out of 12,000 people. So I stopped. I said, why are you leaving? He doesn't say pounds. I swear.
You cannot satisfy everyone. You cannot.
You can't.
You cannot please everyone.
You can't. So I'm like, idiot, paid, leaves, because you know why? Because Tony gets you to look deep within yourself, and people are scared of what they're going to really see.
But it's not easy to deal like that. I know that saying it could be easy, but controlling the emotions itself when the situation happen or strikes, it's not easy. Do you have any approach in your mind that you use it to control such things?
Of not being hurt?
Yeah. Here, just fear judgment or
well, here's
haters.
The thing. Nobody beats me up more than I beat myself. Right? If Dariush's head could come out and be somebody here, he should be locked up for abuse. Because from my upbringing, I'm judged, not good enough, I'm a loser, everybody's better than me. So I'm constantly battling this defeatist, lack of self-worth dialogue that I'm having in my head. So whatever they say is nothing compared to the abuse I give myself. Here's a lesson. Be aware of the conversations you're having with yourself. Most people aren't aware. They just react. So what I do is, no matter how I react, I always think, what was I thinking that made me do this? Now, as I'm getting older, I don't punch anymore. So I just I think, okay, there's a consequence to violence. So let's just think about what I'm going to, okay, is it worth it? We're all going to die, so it's not a big deal, right? But 30 years ago, 25 years ago, when I had lots of anger because of my horrible childhood, you only needed somebody to just trigger. Yes, I was... Yes, my kids, my first two kids, didn't want to be in the car with me because I'll get up and beat somebody up. I was putting the guy you see me isn't the guy 30 years ago. I was locked up on a regular basis just to calm down. The police will lock me up for a few hours to just let off steam because I was so angry inside. So I used this anger and drive to make money, to win, to sell, to manipulate in a good way, strategies to win, right?
What's the biggest thing that you're proud of?
My kids. I've screwed up everywhere, but I like to think that I have the most 4 beautiful kids, complete. And I tell you why I'm proud, not because they're so gorgeous looking, and they are, lucky sperm club. I gave them nothing but love. Okay, and I think there's not enough love given to kids these days, and that breaks my heart. So what happens if somebody's lacking love, which I did, I lacked so much love, You form wrong relationships because you're hoping and praying they fill your cup with what's lacking. But if your cup is full, you don't go out looking for love. Does that make sense? You just find people, you attract people who enhance your life, not fill what's missing. Because nobody can replace that space but yourself.
What
I think
is
we should
your
put that
reason?
in the book. That's a
100%.
really massive thing, right? I've just done a quote that could be repeated for centuries to come. I like that one. Please, what time was it? Put it recording.
100% still weird.
Yeah. If I don't get 5,000 likes for that,
Now,
there's something. Yeah.
we'll do it right now. So
Wow, I'm quite moved by that.
it's
thing.
lovely. I feel the connection anyway.
you.
So we'll cut it. No worries. I believe that you love to
What
keep.
do you mean you cut it?
No.
Don't cut that. That was my highlight.
We're still alive,
Yeah.
and we'll be always alive. So
Are we live?
we always live.
Seriously?
And we are
I
alive.
thought you're recording this.
Not we are recording, but
As well
almost
as live.
alive.
Oh my
Almost
God.
alive.
So I'll be very careful what I say.
No, not at all. So I believe that caring about your children and being proud and they are your source of motivation happen for a reason, right? What is that reason that happened?
Two things. Age of 3.5, I lost my father. He was 29 years old. And they did, just lack of education, they didn't tell me the truth. They didn't want to hurt me. They thought I wasn't ready. So for over a year, I stood outside school waiting for him to pick me up. I would sit outside the house. They wouldn't know. I would sit outside the house. When's my dad coming? And then a year later, they took me to his grave on his anniversary. I was like, they're all crying. So who's this, your dad? That's how I found out. Right? So I felt so lied to and cheated to by the closest people in my life. At the age of 4, and I was like, what? How could they, for such a long period of time, lie to me? So my advice is children can handle everything. Always tell them the truth. Because this business of people cheat you has never left me, right? If your mom, your granddad can lie to you, yes, for over a year, what's the strange going to do to you?
How did it shape your future or just that?
So how it shaped me was that, what was the question originally? I missed it. Do you even remember what your question was?
For sure, your children, they're a source of motivation. That's why, what was the reason for that? Yeah.
So I always wanted to tell my kids the truth. My mom was, she was a widow at 23. She was 19 years older than me. So she had it tough. So she was constantly, and she blamed, for whatever reason, she blamed me for her loss. Okay,
why was that?
She was angry. Things happened to her. She was angry with my dad. She was angry she's still a very attractive woman. She could have had anything and everyone. And then she married this young, handsome engineer who was an entrepreneur. And then he just left. And then she had to fight my father's family for our keeping us. And she won. But then my granddad took care of us, my dad's dad, because he was wealthy. He was a mayor of a city. And he took care of us. And in front of me, he died 3 years later. So I realized automatically that the life's too short. There's no guarantees and anything can happen. So I keep reminding my kids that life's short. So I give them so much love. My highlight, this is the truth, my highlight of my day, do you know what it is? When my kids go to get changed upstairs, I sit at the bottom of the stairs, on the floor, waiting to put the shoelaces on. Every day. You're getting emotional, right? And I can't miss it. That's priceless to me, right? So those little things mean so much. And then about 15 years ago, my grandma was not well. She has something from Alzheimer's, and I went to say my goodbyes to her in Iran. And I turned up, I said, so we're going to see the grave of your dad and granddad, because they're buried on the grave on top of each other, right next to the shrine in Rome. So I took a car, arrived, and about 50 people were waiting to see me. I was like, I haven't been in here for like 30 odd years. What are these people? They said they came to pay respect, but they don't know who I am. I said, because of your granddad, right? They're here to shake your hand because granddad 50 odd years ago helped their family. I was like, boom. And then I decided that that's his legacy, right? I can't let him down. So I thought what I'll do is I'll help as many people as possible. And thank God to technology, my great grandkids can always remember who their great granddad was. And that's why I started this contribution process of my life, to help as many people as I can, like my granddad did.
Unleash is the bridge between my purpose and my mission. And my mission is unleashing the human greatness to its utmost potential.